Alright, quick update on BNB USD. So, since our last video, we were sitting at about $280, and there was a range of bearish indicators from getting rejected from the 13 EMA. We were making M patterns within this rising wedge, which is also a bear flag. We talked about this bear flag target coming all the way down, which also perfectly lines up with the 786. So we had a major area of confluence down here at the 786 after capitulating below the 618 at $280. It seemed pretty black and white to us that we were going to move down to 167. Now, we haven't entirely completed this 41.5% move. At this moment in time, we're actually down about 26%, subsequently after coming down 34%. So we're almost down at this range where I was predicting the USD pair on Binance Coin is going to head down to. Now, I am still expecting for this to head down, a little bit further before we do have our bottom. If we look back at what happened in previous cycles, every bull run that Binance has had, you can see capitulated below the 786 in this bull run. In this bull run, you capitulated below the 786, and in this bull run, I expect it to be no different. And as such, I do believe this 786 is going to be invalidated before we do have our bottoming target. Now, with that being said, I think $100 is a great range to target. This targets just before we started this major uptrend. You can even see that we do have a tiny bit of support built out at about $120. So as such, I believe that this is the area that I would be looking at for Binance to come down to. Now, also bear in mind, BNB has been in the news for, not necessarily the greatest reason, because the SEC is coming after Binance for being a security. I talked about this in my live stream, and if you do want to learn whether Binance is a security, then be sure to head over to my channel, click on playlists, and then head over to the educational series. If you click on it, you will see this is the first video I've ever made. Most cryptocurrencies are securities. I will teach you everything you need to know about what a security is and how to judge whether a crypto is a security. So I don't want to feed you the information. I want to teach you how to do it. As they say, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a night. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for life. So I don't want to just give you the black and white answer, is Binance a security? I want you to go figure it out for yourself. So if you do want to learn if Binance is a security, be sure to head over to the educational playlist. Now, even if it is or isn't, it's not a good sign, just like it wasn't a good sign for XRP when they were going after it. So as such, I would not recommend buying BNB until the SEC case is all wrapped up. If it does come out that the SEC finds that BNB is not a security for whatever reason, then I imagine the price would very much have a bullish reaction to that. And as such, I would be looking to buy if that is the case after the SEC case is wrapped up. But until the SEC case is wrapped up, you can see how long the case on Ripple the SEC case against Ripple Labs for what they deem XRP to be a security of Ripple Labs, that's been going on for ages, and as such, I think we should expect the BNB SEC case to go on for a while. And while it's going on, it's not going to have bullish implications for the price, and as such, we should be sitting on the sidelines. But with that being said, I think if it does come out that it's not a security, I think if the SEC, wraps up their case with them, we have our final capitulation and we end into that final bearish stage, then I would be targeting around about $100 to be the bottom for BNB. But once again, I have to highly recommend to not jump into any of these cryptos that are having cases against them from the SEC. We've all seen the Ripple Labs case against SEC go on for so long now, and these cases are probably not going to be wrapped up overnight. So subsequently, the next major level down would be $100. That is a psychological level, but if you are looking for an area backed up by technical analysis, then you can see the 43% drop coming down to $117. These would respectively have about an $89 drop and a $106 drop. And once again, this is what I expect to pan out for BNB. So keeping it super simple, bearish volume is starting to stack up on the higher time frames. If we look at the squeeze one, which is our momentum indicator, we are trickling into light red, which is indicative that the bears are about to take control, or they are taking control of the higher time frames. And you can see this has been the case for the past 2 weeks. Bearish volume has been stacking up on itself for the past 3 weeks, and the squeeze bomb has flipped bearish in the past 2 weeks, and as such, we've flipped from a valuation between $300 to $306, depending on which one you wanted to draw it from, whether you're talking about the last 2 weeks on the squeeze bomb or the 3 weeks worth of volume. We've dropped about $100. So our prediction's panning out perfectly. We haven't quite hit that 42% drop down to 163 that we were talking about. And as such, I'm going to leave this price target here. But I did want to update you with a new price target because I do not think it's going to be long before we start heading below $163. Bearish momentum is also stepping up on the daily time frame. The squeeze bomb, our momentum indicator, is also stacking up very bearish on the daily. If we look at what's going on with BNB BTC, this has been performing relatively well. Well, I take that back. This has been performing very, very well against Bitcoin in the entirety of its bull run. And, you know, BNB against Bitcoin is only down 14% from the all-time high of Binance. So if anything, you know, people have been holding Binance. You know, obviously this hasn't been performing as well as Bitcoin in this bear market, but this has been performing very, very well against Bitcoin in the entirety of its run. So I'm very, very impressed with how BNB is performing against Bitcoin. This does seem to be a market outlier, but nonetheless, if you're looking to pick up Binance at a USD valuation, then the ranges between 120 and 100 are probably the best to look at. But once again, I really do have to emphasize this. I do not recommend buying any altcoin that has a current case against the SEC until it is all said and done. Now, what I mean by that is, yes, if we come down to $100 and hypothetically, let's say that $100 marks the exact bottom for Binance, if at $100, the SEC says, okay, we can no longer continue this case, or even better, if they say, we have decided that Binance is not, or we decide that BNB is not a security to Binance, because that would be the correct terminology. If the SEC defines and says, Binance coin is not a security to Binance, then that would be the exact area I would be looking to buy, and I would not buy a day before the SEC case is wrapped up. I really have to emphasize that I do not think it's a good idea to buy any altcoin that has a case against the SEC. So that is all I've got for you today. BNB against BTC holding up very, very well. I do expect for this to take one massive dive to the downside, you know, potentially after Bitcoin has its bottom, because I've talked about this before. Bitcoin always bottoms before the altcoins. Bitcoin has a dead cat bounce, comes back down, makes a higher low, and in that higher low that Bitcoin makes, the altcoins all make lower lows. So potentially within the next couple of months, I do expect Binance coin to fall out of this, potentially have one last capitulation. Maybe it might hold this entire Fibonacci structure. Maybe it will come back and, you know, make a higher low from its 2019 all-time high against Bitcoin. But nonetheless, I am expecting one last capitulation. And even if you don't care about the BTC pair, I'd say if you're buying Binance, I wouldn't buy it against Bitcoin at this moment in time, because it seems to be heavily overbought against Bitcoin. But if you're buying Binance as an altcoin trade in order to accumulate or make more US dollars, then round about the $100 range is where I expect is the best place to buy. Once again, wait until the SEC case is wrapped up. Can't emphasize that enough. I do expect Bitcoin to start potentially capitulating coming into Monday on the stock market opening. I expect the trend to be your friend. I expect the SPY to start heading down. I expect the dollar to continue heading up, and subsequently Bitcoin to head down on Monday's stock market opening. This will allow and hopefully make Binance push down to these lower levels that I'm interested in accumulating at hopefully after the SEC cases are wrapped up. So that's all I've got for you for Binance today. Nothing has really changed in the macro time structure. Our previous prediction is panning out to the teeth, and, you know, switching over to the Heikenashis, it really seems like we are in a very, very clear-cut landslide to the downside. Weekly squeeze bomb is bearish. Bearish momentum is stepping up week after week after week, and subsequently I believe the trend is our friend until the end on this one, and we should be expecting lower price targets before this flips bullish. So all I've got for BNB. Seems to be holding up very, very well against the BTC pair. But USD, lower valuations are very, very likely to be in play. So all I've got for you today, as always, not financial advice, Calway out, and most importantly, peace.